Hey, what is up guys, GuitarRock here. Welcome back to another Nikke Goddess of Victory video. Now plenty of things happened in the last couple of days. Grave release, Cinderella fixed. So let's talk a little bit more about the second one, which is the fix of Cinderella. But before then, if you guys are not aware, I hope you guys are aware, they are giving you 10 more free pulls. Alright, 10 more free pulls for commanders. You basically just gotta log in for this particular one. This is for the top in the App Store. Alright, number one in App Store. And also right now, they have opened solo raids all over again. So you can see solo raids, you can access it. So make sure you guys are playing solo raids, get all of the relevant rewards, alright, that you need. Also co-op, don't forget. Usually this will be available every 2 weeks on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? So make sure you guys do this, do as follows. Now let's first talk about Cinderella, what happened before and after the changes. Alright, if you guys are not aware, right, I did make a video right here talking about this. So basically, they try to fix Cinderella's issues and all the bugs, if I'm not mistaken, has since been fixed. And you can see I made a video talking about it. They basically double her damage on her burst skill. Is Cinderella buff right now? Is she stronger than before? The answer is yes, she is actually stronger than before. Let's show you guys my before and after testing of the comparison. Now, you can see right here, I managed to do some testing right before the maintenance was about to begin when they fixed Cinderella. So in the same stage, the fire boss, you can see this is going to be very interesting. So we have Cinderella right here doing 920 million, alright, 885 here, and then 882 here. So the margin of error, so the reason why you see like a little bit of difference here and there is because sometimes she crits, sometimes she doesn't, sometimes she did extra core hit, plus the boss also jumps a little bit, right? So since Anis also did about the same, right? 358 here, 357 here, 350, just to give you guys see the difference between various different characters. That's going to fluctuate a little bit. And the overall damage difference is 1.7 here, 1.7 billion, 1.67 billion, and of course 1.65 billion. Now these three tests, I purposely tried 3 different tests so that we get a bigger sample size and an average, right? And then after the maintenance, when they fixed Cinderella's skill, you can see we are getting slight improved damage, alright, 1.77 billion. So let's look at Swimsuit Anis first, right, to see if there's any like fluctuations. 365, alright, 349, 347. So 350, 357, 358, it's about there, right? It's about there, but you can see for Cinderella from 920, about 880 to 920, about there. You can see she jumps all the way to 982, 1 billion, alright, and 982 again. So you can see she gets like a huge boost, right? This is like, the other 3 is like all within like a plus minus 5% margin of error. But right now, after the buff, literally, if you look at the margin of difference here, she is comparatively doing about, I would say about 10 to 15% more damage. So this is like a big jump. Overall, I think it's a good thing. I don't know why some of my viewers told me that she got nerfed. No, she got buffed, literally. She has gotten stronger ever since. Now Cinderella is definitely a character that you want to have. She's that strong, alright? Right now, I think this is a very good buff for her overall. Now let's talk a little bit more about the importance of Grave right now for Cinderella. How relevant are these two together? Now, if you guys didn't watch my Grave video yesterday, once Grave comes in, Cinderella can fit in a team with Grave, alright? They actually have decent synergy, alright, because of Grave giving her a little bit of extra burst gauge feel. I've been testing more and more, and I feel like both of them are going to be very good. Now, the best team that you can make right now with Cinderella is going to be with Roach and Swimsuit Anis. Swimsuit Anis is very strong. Why is that, right? Specifically, she can do decent damage on her own, but the most important thing is going to be her skill 1. I've mentioned this in the previous video. Her skill 1 literally is built to buff other electric code Nikkes, and Cinderella is one of them, right? You can see right here, everybody's attack increased by 55%, reload speed increased by 49%. This is going to be a very good buff for Cinderella overall. Now, if you use Grave in this particular team, Swimsuit Anis cannot be there because it's going to get crippled. Now you can see right here, right? So I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you guys can see. So this is going to be 2 teams right here. So we have one Cinderella with a Grave and then Cinderella with Crown, alright? So Anis difference literally halves, alright? Divide by 2 right here, you can see 194 million when we put Grave in. And then when you put Annie's right here in the Crown team, she works just fine, right? As intended. The reason why is because Annie's needs to reload as often as possible, right? She doesn't want to have more ammo capacity in her kit. When you put Grave right there, let me see. When you put Grave right here, right? So Grave has this ability right here on this particular skill. You can see increase max ammo capacity by 3 rounds, right? You don't want that for Annie's. Annie's wants to have as little bullet as possible, as little ammo capacity as possible, so that she can reload as often as possible. Because of her skill 2, which shoots plenty of rockets, right? So this is going to be, this particular missile activates when firing the last bullet. So every time she reloads, you know, last bullet, and then before she reloads, she's going to fire the 2 rocket. Now, if you want to use Grave in this team, you have to take Swimsuit Annie's out. So that's going to be where everything changes, right? So we're going to take Swimsuit Annie's out, boom. So now you put Grave in there. So now you're going to figure out who is going to be the best burst free in this team. Now depending on who you're trying to, I'm talking about more in like high deficit campaign or in situation where we're fighting like general bosses and stuff. I guess Red Hood is decent right here. Alright, Red Hood and Grave do have the synergy. Now if you want to play this on team on auto, however, this is going to be a bit tricky. You cannot put them this way. You ideally want Grave to be the one that use her burst too, right? You cannot put the character this way because Rouge needs to be in this position or this position. If you guys are not aware, Rouge has a very unique skill set where she needs to be in back row. Alright, you click on here, you can see she needs to be in position 2 or position 4. She cannot be in position 1, 3, and 5, right? Very simple, very straightforward. So that's going to be Rouge's biggest problem. Now if you're trying to manual, it's not going to be that big of a problem, but when you're trying to auto, the AI prioritizes on the most left, right? So the most left burst 3 is Cinderella. So she's gonna get the burst. The most left burst 1 is Rouge. But the most left burst 2, in this case, is Red Hood, because Red Hood has burst 1, burst 2, burst 3. But you want Grave to burst. But you cannot position it this way because then Rouge's buff doesn't give Red Hood. Because Rouge buffed the next 2 characters next to her. Very, very unique character in that sense. So now you can see a little bit of a rough pickle right there. I feel like if you really want the flexibility, you should probably take out Rouge, because Rouge does restrict. Even though Rouge is the best character to use with Cinderella, but if you want to use Grave with Cinderella, and you're trying to auto in like a hard stage campaign and stuff, I feel like Lita is going to be better in that case. So in most cases, you can take her out, put Lita in. Now you don't have to worry about the positioning anymore. You can always put Lita here, you can put Cinderella, you can put Grave here, you can put Cinderella right here, and Red Hood. And this is going to be way more flexible. Alright, if you're trying to build a Cinderella and Grave team, and of course trying to slot in Red Hood as well, I would say this is going to be something that you can consider, right? Something like this. Now, I tried to do some testing to see if Swimsuit Annie's is going to be better than Grave for Cinderella, right? Overall, like who is going to be the better, who is going to be more important overall. Because like, it's not going to be easy to test this, however, because right now you can see my testing method is, I put Lita right here, alright? And then I have Grave right here. Alright, Cinderella and Scarlet is going to be the burst 3. So you can see I put Marciana right there. So why Marciana? Because Marciana doesn't provide any buffs. Marciana is just there to give healing. She's a healer, right? She's strictly healer. All her skills doesn't have anything. So in this particular first one, you can see Cinderella did 1.4 right here, right? 1.4 billion right there. That is a lot of damage. Insane damage. In the second team, I took out Grave, alright? Marciana is the one bursting burst 2, right? And then I go and put Annie's right here. And you can see Cinderella did less, for sure, right? We did about 300 million less. So is this a fair comparison, right? Maybe not, because like we are forced to use Marciana where we could use Crown, right? But ideally, it is going to be give you an indication of the buff. I guess Grave is a very good buffer for Cinderella. Now you can see I did 2 different testing. This is for 1 minute 30 seconds. This is for 3 minutes, because ideally I also want to see that if the period is less, would Swimsuit Annie's be better, right? Because what Grave do for Cinderella is she allows her to burst more often because of the burst gauge filling speed. Now you can see right here for Cinderella, 584 million. This is with Grave, and with Marciana is 472. Now, if I were to test both of them in their optimal team, right? Like the optimal team that I mentioned, with usage of each of them, for example, right here, you can see we got Rouge with Sparkling Summer, and then we got Crown and Naga. So let's focus on Cinderella's damage. 342, and then you can see right here, 342 again with Litter, Grave. Alright, Litter and Grave, right? This one doesn't matter. This is one for healer, right? This is for heal. And then this is just another burst tree. So Litter and Grave is the one buffing her. So you can see they actually do quite similar damage. Alright. So I would say damage wise, depending on which one you pick, both teams seems to work just fine. Alright, definitely it's going to be something to consider. Regardless of which team you decide to use, I think Grave is going to be a very decent candidate for Cinderella. Alright, I don't think you can regret pulling for her. Also Litter, everybody has access to her. Eventually she's added in the bonus recruit right there. But you are going to need one healer, because if you use this team, alright, there's no one that can heal your team, which is why I recommend Rapunzel. She does not need to burst to be able to heal your team overall. So this is like a decent team, right? Obviously Scarlet can be replaced with Red Hood if you want to, but any burst tree here doesn't really matter. Cinderella is going to be the main DPS in that case. So I'm still doing more and more testing, but I feel like Grave is a decent burst 2 character. Now, she's not broken or anything, and I feel like if you have Crown, you could get away with not having her. That seems to be the impression that I have for the time being. But I have one more video coming later on. We're gonna test Grave with multitude of different teams to give you guys an idea. Alright, hopefully stay tuned for that. That's gonna be it for this particular video. Cinderella got buffed, which is the good news that I hope you guys are aware of. So yeah, with that being said, that's gonna be it for this particular video. Subscribe, give this video a like. I'll see you guys very soon. Take care, have a nice day, goodbye.